I'm Justine,
Hi, I'm Leah.
and we are here to discuss sexual assault on college campuses. Now, we understand that this topic can be very sensitive and potentially triggering to a lot of people, so if at any time this video becomes too much for you, you're welcome to pause the video, practice some self-care, and come back and join in the discussion whenever you are comfortable. And with that, let's get on with the video.
Hi, we decided to start this video off with some statistics. 1 in 5 women and 1 in 16 men are sexually assaulted while in college. 91% of victims of rape and sexual assault are female and 9% are male. 46.4% of lesbians, 74.9% of bisexual women, and 43.3% of heterosexual women have reported sexual violence other than rape during their lifetimes. And more than 90% of sexual assault victims do not report the assault.
One of the issues surrounding sexual assault is the subsequent victim blaming and the language that surrounds it after it happens. And so some examples of victim blaming are, she shouldn't have worn that skirt, she shouldn't have gotten so drunk, she shouldn't be walking by herself at night, she shouldn't be such a tease, she shouldn't be such a slut, she shouldn't do anything. There's nothing that we can do. Which obviously there wouldn't be a crime to talk about if there wasn't a perpetrator. It's never the victim's fault. And this should be common knowledge, but unfortunately, it isn't, and people still don't understand that. And you still see a lot of this victim blaming language and rhetoric coming from major institutions, such as the OSU timely warning system. When there was a sexual assault that happened earlier this year, there was kind of a patronizing timely warning email that went out that instructed women, be aware of your surroundings and don't walk home alone when it's dark out, which we all know not to do. We all have been taught and told this from a really young age. Like how old were you when you were told you can't walk home?
Probably 5 or 6.
Yeah, this is stuff that we're told from a very young age, yet we never tell anyone, don't rape someone. We're always told, don't get raped. So it almost becomes like the responsibility is on us to not get raped instead of on the perpetrator to not rape.
One of the contributing factors to sexual assault crimes is the bystander effect. The bystander effect refers to cases in which individuals do not offer any means of help to a victim when other people are present.
And so you most commonly see the bystander effect in really large groups of people. So that could be frat parties, that could be bars, clubs, regular house parties. These things happen when there's a large group of people who are able to intervene but don't. And so one way that you cannot be a bystander is by actively intervening. If you see someone who looks very intoxicated, who looks very unsure and uncomfortable with someone who is hitting on them, you can go up and be like, hey, are you okay? Do you need anything? And this gives them an out. This gives them a way to get out of an uncomfortable situation. And it de-escalates the situation really nicely. Another way is using the buddy system. We never go to a party without having at least one friend who is there to kind of check in, touch bases with, and make sure that we are all right. And kind of have a game plan.
It understands our intentions for the night as well.
And just be generally observant of the surroundings and kind of look out for your fellow human.
Another contributing factor to sexual assault crimes is the notion of consent and it not being fully understood. Consent is the permission for something to happen or the agreement to do something.
And so this agreement means that you and the person who you are interacting with, there's an understanding of what will and will not happen. And consent can be broken down by 3 easy rules. Yes means yes, no means no, and an absence of a no does not mean a yes. And so when we say that there's an absence of a no, we mean that an I'm not sure, or I don't really want to, or anything that conveys that they don't want to interact or do anything with you, that is a no, and you need to stop. Also, one of the biggest indicators of an absence of a no is if a person is passed out and not conscious. That should be the biggest indicator that they cannot give consent. Another situation in which consent cannot be given is when a person is too drunk or too under the influence of drugs to give consent. So if they are stumbling around, slurring their words, getting sick, they definitely cannot consent to have sex with you or do any other kind of interaction that is not just being able to sleep it off. Consent also does not mean giving it once and then you have consent forever after. You need consent each and every time that anything happens. Also, consent to one act does not mean consent to all acts. You should always ask first and never assume that you have someone's consent to do anything with them. They are in charge of their own bodies, just as you are in charge of yours. And whenever 2 bodies interact, there needs to be consent between those 2 bodies. And we wish that people understood this more. And hopefully, if you did not understand that before watching this video, you do now. And we would like to thank you for watching this video. If you have a comment or questions, leave them below in the comments box. And we hope that this was informative. Have a good day.